Right, Bill, this is going to take you out of your comfort zone a little bit. So what we're going to be making today and tomorrow is a mushroom and leek galette. And we've got the festive die-hard film on because it's Christmas Eve. Got my assistant. Say hello, Tasha. Say hello. Hey. Just there you go. What we're going to be doing today is preparing the dough because it needs a little time to chill. You don't have to do it a day ahead of time, but it can be done a couple of days in advance if you want. So I've got all my ingredients here. This is, let me see if I can remember, 1.25 cups of white flour, 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour. There will be a tablespoon of sugar. I think it was 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and I've got a couple of other secret ingredients. I've got 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter. That is currently in the fridge, keeping cold because you need everything to stay cold. And I've got 7 tablespoons of water plus 1 teaspoon of distilled white vinegar that is also being chilled. That is the vinegar is the secret ingredient in this. And what we're going to be making is a flaky pastry. And this is it's actually a really interesting process, which is why I wanted to show you this. And it's worth having a go because it's absolutely spectacular in terms of food, and it's it's not very healthy because it's got the 10 tablespoons of butter in it, plus it has a bunch of goat cheese. But it is a vegetarian dish, and I've had die-hard meat eaters who have loved this and asked for more. So let's get started. Right, food processor. If you haven't got a food processor, you can actually do this by hand. This just makes it a little easier. So I'm going to stick in the flour. So that's my white flour. That's my whole wheat flour. The whole wheat flour gives it a nutty flavor. And what did I say? I said a tablespoon of sugar and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. You do not want to get those mixed up. All right, so tablespoon of sugar, and then we'll do 1/2 teaspoon of salt, followed by 1/4 teaspoon of salt. It's generally not best to do this over what you're going to be mixing it in case you miss the spoon and make a mess. But I am a professional. Do not try this at home. So that was 1/2, and then we're going to put 1/4 in. Okay. Yep. Right, so that's the dry ingredients. We're just going to mix those up a little bit. So we'll switch this on and just do a few pulses. Right, so that's just to mix the dry ingredients. Now we're going to add the butter, and the key to this is leaving pea-sized pieces of butter in your mix. You're not blending everything in. So I have the butter which I prepared earlier. So you can see this is cut up into reasonably small pieces already. Just bung that in, and doesn't matter if there's a bit left over on the plate. So just pulse this probably 10 times or so. I don't know if you were counting, but oh, look at that, that's perfect. All those pieces of butter are all just kind of chopped up into little pieces. Now if I had an overhead camera like on TV, it would be way better. Right, so now we're going to take that mixture, put it in the bowl. So this is, as you would be able to see if you were here, it's a very dry, loose mixture at the moment, and it's going to stay that way. We need this spatula, and I'm going to get the water. We sprinkle the water and vinegar over this, and then we just fold it all in together. Here we have 7 tablespoons of chilled water and 1 of vinegar, and we just kind of sprinkle that in and then fold that all in together. All I'm doing is just bringing this all together so that the liquid is well mixed into the dry mix, and you can see it's like really, really dry and lumpy. And believe it or not, that is all you do. Then we take a nice piece of cling film, put this out onto the cling film carefully so that you don't put it all over the countertop. So I'm just going to take this cling film, close it up on that side, kind of wrap it over a little bit, wrap it over here, pull it together. There you go. And then bring that in together like that, and then just kind of press it together, and that's it. So you just have it wrapped loosely together like that, and you put it in the fridge, and that's all you have to do. So that is stage 1. Now you put it in the fridge for 40 minutes or so. So you can either open a bottle of wine, you can watch John McClane get all the bad guys, or you can take the dog out for a walk, which is what I'm going to do. So at this point, it doesn't matter if it's all kind of loose together. What we're going to do in 40 minutes time is start to roll it out, and that will start to work the butter into the dry mixture. Right, so this is going in the drawer here. It's going in my salad drawer, which is also my beer drawer. Right, so it's time to take this one out for a walk. You want to go for a walk? Tasha, you want to go for a walk? Yes? Walk? Do you want to sit? Yes. You want to go? You want to wave? Yes. Okay, so we're going out for a walk. Wave goodbye. Yes. Now, just before we go out for our walk, I just have to say something to Bill. Now, I said that it was 7 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of vinegar. It's actually 1 teaspoon of vinegar. And I don't remember what I did. It'll just make it more acidic, I would imagine. So that's going to be interesting to see if I got that right. I really don't remember what I put in, but it should be a teaspoon of vinegar. I think I did it right. I think I just said it was wrong. Right, so now, wait, we're going to go for our walk? We're going to go for our walk? So here we are back from a dog walk, and well, the dough has rested in the fridge for, let's say, like an hour and a quarter, but as long as it's more than 45 minutes, that's fine. And we've put on a more suitable Christmas movie, Bad Santa, which Julie hates. And I'm now going to do the magic with the dough. This is the special bit. What we need for this is a lightly floured countertop, a rolling pin, and one of these, whatever one of these is, and an assistant. An assistant who is ready to help. Always need an assistant. Oh, you need something else as well, something very important. Hang on. You need a glass of champagne. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. So, missing one thing, the dough. So you make sure your surface is lightly floured.
How about clean before lightly floured?
Well, no, the dough will clean it. So one lightly floured surface and one lot of dough. Now, this looks like it's just a loose collection of stuff at the moment. That's basically because it is. I actually found, after I switched the camera off, that a couple of pieces of butter had jumped out, which you may have noticed on the video. They jumped out of the thing, but that really doesn't matter because it's all going to get incorporated. So all you do now is you just start to roll it out, and you will say, my God, this is never going to be anything because it's so dry. But due to the magic of kitchen chemistry, you will find very soon that it starts to hold together. So you just have to actually need to flour this is like butter that's getting stuck onto the rolling pin, so you need to flour flour. Get off my toes, dog. You need to flour the rolling pin a little bit. So you just roll it out loosely like that. Then, this is why you have the scraper. You kind of scrape everything in together in the middle, kind of bring it together, squeeze it together like that, and then you do it again. And you probably can't see this at them, but I can already see that it's starting to form together. So what this does is gives you very flaky pastry. Alright, so this is actually a bit sticky. It's very warm in here because somebody who shall remain nameless put the fireplace on. That's too late. You want to do this where it's as cool as possible, because when it's warm, the butter melts and gets into the flour. But it will just need a little more working with the rolling pin. So there we are. We can see it starting to hold together more. And the idea is that we roll it out loosely like that, and then you fold each side in and over to make like an envelope sized piece of pastry. Bring it all together, and then you just roll it out again. Do the same thing. And see, now, magically, it's starting to look a lot like pastry. So the recipe that I have, which I'm more than happy to share with you, says do that like twice, but I do it like 5 or 6 times if I'm finding that it's not sticking together properly, which this isn't today. It might be due to the whole vinegar episode. But bring in the loose bits together. Beg your pardon, dear? And now you can see it's now become pastry, whereas before it was just a completely loose mass of flour. So now, and what I'll do is I'll put all these loose bits on the edge in the middle, fold it up and over, turn it, bring any loose bits in, and roll it out again. And each time you fold it in on itself, it creates another layer, which gives you flaky pastry. See now, this is now one piece of pastry. Still got a few stray pieces there. Right, so we do that. I'll do that 2 more times. You see now this is, I just put a little bit more flour on the rolling pin so it doesn't stick. But you can see now this is quite a solid piece of pastry. If anything, this feels a little too wet. I mean, it's hard to believe when you start because it's so dry. And that's it. So you fold that end in, that end in, and just a little bit more flour here. We're going to do this one more time, and then going to wrap it up again in the. I'm going to wrap it up again in the cling film, and then put it in the fridge. And I'm going to leave it overnight. You just need to leave it for a while, probably another 45 minutes or so. But you can see now, this is now a lovely piece of pastry. Just turn it sideways, just to do it this way, because I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Now, final step in doing this is you fold it over that way, fold it over that way, and then fold it over that way. So now I've got a block of pastry. I'll take all my loose bits, do that with it. All the crap that's on the counter, you combine it. Get your plastic wrap, which of course now won't stick to anything. And then just wrap it up really tightly in that. And there you go. That is how you make really nutty tasting, as far as I know, because I never eat nuts, but very tasty, flaky pastry for the galette, and we're going to do the rest tomorrow. So this is where we say cheers. Had a piece left over, never mind. Now the first time you do this, you have a feeling that it's never going to come together and make pastry, because it's just this complete mess of loose flour and butter. But you persevere with it, you just keep rolling it and turning it like you saw I did. It may take a few goes at it, and then you end up with really excellent pastry. It's the best pastry I've ever tasted. So there you go. We will see you tomorrow.